Today on Up Front, former Governor Tommy Thompson in a look back at his life and career. Thompson has a new book covering both. Next, we'll talk about his biggest accomplishments and his biggest regrets. Plus, Thompson on our current political discourse and how we get back to a place of civility. Then, appeals court judge Lisa Neubauer on her bid for Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Up Front with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Up Front. We're doing something a little bit different to begin today's program. Instead of looking ahead at the next big race or the next big issue, we're taking a look back. Wisconsin's longest-serving governor, and one of its most popular, has just released a new book on his life and his career. Tommy Thompson served just over 14 years as governor from 1987 to 2001 before leaving to join the George W. Bush administration as Health and Human Services Secretary. His new book, Tommy, My Journey of a Lifetime, with author and journalist Doug Moe, came out last week, and we're talking politics past and present today with former Governor Tommy Thompson. Welcome back to Up Front, Governor.
Michael, it's always a pleasure. You do such a nice job, and it's really, I mean that sincerely. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you, and thank you very much for having me.
Appreciate your time. Let's talk a little modern-day politics, if we might, for just a moment. You're a guy who ran for governor successfully 4 different occasions.
That's right.
What's your take on this year's governor's race?
I think it's going to be very close, and I've said that publicly, and I'm still saying it privately. I think it's going to be extremely close. I think this will be the toughest race that Scott Walker has ever run. And
even tougher than the recall and some of those
I
others?
think the recall was probably one of his easier ones. I never expected the recall to be successful. People just didn't. People in Wisconsin don't like that. You know, he didn't do anything, you know, break the law or anything like this that he should be recalled. It was just difference in politics. But I think this one, the third one, is always tough, and this time, you know, whether it's a blue wave or not, I think there's a little bit of a fatigue. I think Scott still has a direct path to win, and I think the odds are that he will win, but I think it's going to be extremely close.
Give me your sense of our politics today, not just in the state of Wisconsin, but outside. What do you think about the state of political discourse in America today?
Well, I think, you know, everybody knows the art of civility has gone by the wayside, and right now it's more of a drag me down or tear me down instead of build me up. And I just don't like that, you know. All my Democratic opponents, I still have something in common with. Tony Earl, I think, is a fantastic guy. Tom Loftus and I are still very close friends. Chuck Chvala, you know, we had many fights on the floor, but Chuck and I are still friends. And that kind of friendship after the election, you can disagree. You can disagree about policy. You don't have to be disagreeable, and you don't have to, you know, tear down and absolutely destroy the other side. And I think that is the new mantra: destroy the other side.
How do we change?
And I don't like that.
How do we change it?
I think just by time. I think it's going to.
This is a phase, you're saying?
I think it's a phase. I think it's going to go through, and I think after this election, I think there's going to be a movement afoot. Whether it be John McCain's death, who was very much in favor of that. I think the fact that both political sides think it's gone too far the other direction, and I think that's always the case. I think you get to a point, and there's time to make a change. And I think now is the time for all of us, whether you're Republican, Independent, Communist, Baptist, Catholic, and Lutheran, or Democrat, or whatever the case may be. It's time to bring some civility back to politics.
So I want to talk about your book, Tommy,
sure,
my journey of.
And thank you for doing it.
Yeah, my journey of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And I want to begin by asking you about the reasons for writing this, because I'm left with the impression that part of the reason you wrote this is you want to inspire the next Tommy Thompson. You want to say this is possible in Wisconsin. Am I wrong about that?
It's part of it. Part of it is to encourage young people to get involved in politics. It's a great profession. Whether you run for public office or not, I think everybody should run sometime for something. Whether it be mayor, city council, school board, I think people should run and see how you get elected. Whether you win or not, it's not that important. It's running and getting involved. It's your community, it's your school, and people need to do that. So I'm encouraging young people to get involved and to run for public office. Get involved with a campaign. If you don't want to run yourself, you yourself can be involved in a campaign. That's important. And the second thing is I wanted to make sure that people knew the record that we have achieved. It was quite impressive And the story, was fun doing, but it also was only about half of what we were able to really accomplish. I mean, there's a lot in there, but there's still...
The book could have been 500 pages instead of 250.
Could have been, there's a lot of things I didn't talk about, about organ donations, about vaccinations, about international journeys. There's so many, but the truth of the matter is I wanted to pick the best. And I think the story tells, the book tells the story, and it is an incredible journey. Coming from Elroy, poor means and not having anybody involved in the political thing except my father was at the county board. It was quite a stretch to think that I could run for the state assembly at 24 and win, and then run for governor and win, and then go to Washington and be in the cabinet. That's impressive.
Did being something of an underdog in your own head, being something of a guy who was underestimated,
always,
did that make you successful?
Yes, absolutely, because it made me work so much harder just to prove you wrong. And when I ran for the state assembly, all the individuals in Madison were supporting Louis Ramel. Gave him money. I had to borrow $500 from the Bank of Elroy and buy a $200 car. That's all I had. I had no contributions. My first contribution from anybody was after the primary, after I won, and I got $75 and a roll of stamps. That was my first campaign donation, except for my father, who gave me $10 a day, $5 for gas, and $5 to eat on.
What called to you about public service?
I went to Washington. I won a scholarship. Martin didn't win a scholarship. I was the only Republican in the political science class. And the professor, Ralph Hewitt, had to pick a Democrat and a Republican. I was the only Republican in class.
So he sent you to Washington.
So he sent me to Washington, and I got a chance to see what was going on in Washington. And I thought to myself, I could do that, and I could do it better. And then I worked while I was going through law school, I worked at the state Senate. And I figured, I could do this, and I could do it better. And that piqued my curiosity and thinking whether or not I could win an election. So at 24, I announced, and as I've said, everybody said you can't win. I was running against a 16-year incumbent from Adams County. At those times, we didn't have the counties divided. It was Adams, Juneau, and Marquette. And I still remember giving my first speech on the floor, and I said, the gentleman from Adams, Juneau, and Marquette counties. And so that's what happens. And it was just the fact that people said, I couldn't do it, I won't win, made me work that much harder. And I've always been underestimated, whether I ran for the assembly, whether I ran for governor. And I've always outworked everybody.
Let's take a break. I want to continue with this conversation. We'll be back with Governor Thompson in just a moment. We'll talk about one of the governor's new passions, something he talks about in this book, the issue of prison reform.
Up Front with Mike Goucher, brought to you by the American Transmission Company and the Wisconsin Corn Growers Association.